Hello and welcome to the Fox Sports Ultimate Fan Bracket College Basketball Edition. My name is Mark Titus. Joining me is Tate Frazier, and we are seeking to crown the best fan base in college basketball. We might not have March Madness this year, Tate, but we are still going to find a way to crown a champion.
That's right, Titus. And we both know this. The best fans are in college basketball. They're passionate, they're crazy, they're wild. And every single March, they get a full month to express that, to go crazy, to go wild. They don't have it this year, but we're trying to find another way to do that. And let's give them a banner. Let's give someone a banner, the best fans.
Tonight, we are going to be revealing the bracket for our Ultimate Fan Bracket Challenge here. But first, let's explain how this thing's going to work. First, let's go over how we put the bracket together. Just like the real NCAA tournament, we started with 32 automatic bids, given to the one school from each conference with the most followed men's basketball Twitter account. From there, we award our at-large bids, which go to the 32 remaining team Twitter accounts with the most followers. And then to round out the field, the last 4 spots are given by consulting the final net rankings for this season in college basketball and awarding bids to the 4 highest-rated teams that aren't already in the field. Then the teams are seeded based on Twitter followings and placed in the bracket using techniques perfected by the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, such as manufacturing certain matchups or ratings, rigging it so Arizona loses in the Elite Eight, and giving Duke the easiest path possible to a title. Now on to the voting. All of the voting will be done through the Fox Sports College Basketball Twitter account, @CBB on Fox. The tournament will unfold over the course of the next 3 weeks, with 2 rounds taking place each week. 1 round will start each Monday, and the voting for that round will be open until that Thursday. Then the next round will start on Thursday, and the voting for that round will remain open until the following Monday. This process will continue until one fan base remains and is officially crowned the best fan base in college basketball. But wait, here's the best part. The winner of the Ultimate Fan Bracket will have a billboard, courtesy of Fox Sports, placed near their rival's campus. What will be on this billboard, you ask? Oh, just a nice, friendly message that basically says, we're better than you and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. That's right. We might not have March Madness this year, but we're still giving you the opportunity to rub your greatness in your rival's face. And isn't that what being a college basketball fan is really all about?
These are the rules of the tournament. We're going to learn who the ultimate fans are in college basketball. And every single selection Sunday dating back to, basically television, we've always seen this. We get the automatic qualifiers, which are the top teams from each conference. Let's roll those out now because we're going to see who is the top at each conference. And here we go. We see some Cinderellas in the mix, right, Mark Titus?
Yeah, there are a lot of smaller schools that people might remember from NCAA tournaments past, like Loyola Chicago, for example. They're popping up there on my screen. Florida Gulf Coast, good to see them. Lehigh, Norfolk State, Butlers. Not a lot of surprises in terms of the power conference teams that we're seeing that automatically qualified here, Tate, but that's the thing that stood out to me is that all these teams that have had Cinderella runs in recent NCAA tournaments past seem to be automatic bids, and that's exciting for a tournament like this where we do not want it to just be top heavy. We want all the little guys to have a chance too, and yeah, exactly. It seems like that's what we got here.
Yeah, and we got the Thundering Herd of Marshall. We got Northern Kentucky, a team that's seen some success. Montana is a team that's always been, in or around the tournament. Some stories around the Grizzly always. But like you said, we want to talk. We maybe don't want to talk, but we have to talk because this is college basketball. We have to talk about the top dogs. And let's talk about the number 1 dog, a team that we've seen so many times, Coach K and the Blue Devils of Duke. Let's get into the number 1 overall seed of the Ultimate Fan Bracket.
Congratulations, Duke. You have the most followed Twitter account in all of college basketball, and you are our number 1 overall seed.
And you have to say, Tony Romo as an X Factor represents a large celebrity culture. Duke is very good at reaching out to guys and say, hey, Todd Gurley, you want to come to a Duke game? Now you're a Duke fan. Hey, Jason Garrett, you want to come to a Duke game? You're a Duke fan. David Robinson, your son wants to play here? Boom, you're a Duke fan.
This dates all the way back to Tupac wearing the Jeff Capel jersey, Tate. This is there's a long history of this. Duke is very good at what they do, and America might hate them for it, but you can't deny their success.
Let's get to the number 2 overall seed because this is a team that is near and dear to your heart, Mark Titus. A team that they have the old basketball mantra. This is the fundamentals of the game. This is the candy stripes. This is the Indiana Hoosiers and the Hysteria Zone. The number 2 overall seed and a number 1 seed in this bracket. All right, there you have it. Indiana, the number 2 overall, number 1 seed. I am shocked by this, but Mark Titus, you were boots on the ground. You were from Brownsburg, Indiana. You have seen this up close and personal. I know about high school basketball in Indiana, but what makes an Indiana Hoosier? What is a Hoosier fan?
Tate, in 49 states, it's just basketball. In Indiana, it's something completely different. I am not surprised in the slightest that Indiana is the number 2 overall seed in this thing. This is all Indiana people. Hoosiers, this is what we do. We live, we breathe basketball at all times. It carries over into Twitter. I feel like anytime you're putting the word Indiana into a bracket that has something to do with basketball, Hoosiers are going to go nuts and do all they can to make sure that Indiana goes as far in that bracket as they possibly can. And I expect no different here. A very surprising and I think to a lot of America that IU would be number 2. But those of you that pay enough attention, it's a rabid fan base that is starved for success, and I really think Indiana is in a position to do some damage in this tournament, Tate.
And we saw the run. We saw Romeo Langford. He came from Indiana. He went to Indiana. He started this new trend. We saw Bob Knight come back this year. Like you said, Mark Cuban sitting on the sideline there. They have the visibility. They have the following. And the people in Indiana, they no longer have dial-up. They have real internet.
You know what else they have? You know what else they have, Tate? They have banners. They have 5 banners, and they want another one. And listen, it's not the NCAA tournament banner, but it's the next best thing. It's the Fox Sports Ultimate Fan Bracket College Basketball Edition banner, and you get a billboard in West Lafayette. That's just as good as a banner, right?
And let's get to our number 3 overall number 1 seed, and that is a team that is born, bred, dead, as they say, the North Carolina Tar Heels. A beautiful team, a beautiful school, a place that is near and dear to my heart. All right, and finally, let's get to another blue blood, our 4th number 1 seed in this tournament. A school that basically they pride themselves on the Rock Chalk Jayhawk and rocking it to Allen Fieldhouse, and that is, of course, the Kansas Jayhawks. Beware of the fog. Here we are.
Yeah, I like Kansas in this tournament. Kansas fans, they show out. They're crazy. We were out in the Maui Invitational when Kansas was out there, and there were a ton of fans out there. Listen, this is a program that is used to winning, Tate, and I cannot envision a scenario where they're not going to want to win this thing. So that's what I expect out of Kansas fans is more just whatever, take all the energy of being loud that they bring down Fieldhouse, apply it to this Twitter vote and see the Jayhawks as far as they can go.
And we've seen Kansas. They're built for miracles. We got Danny Manning and the miracles. We got Mario's miracle. Crazy things happen with Kansas in the basketball world, so they have a real shot to make a run. Well, we're excited. Those are our 1 seeds. And let's get to a guy that is very excited about his team being the overall number 1 seed, Sheldon Williams.
Hello, everybody. This is Sheldon Williams. I want to say that Duke University has the best college basketball fans by far. They're the number 1 overall seed, or should be the number 1 overall seed. Cameron Crazies are the loudest, craziest bunch of fans that you can ever play for. From them tenting outside in Chesheskyville to them painting the bodies blue, Duke University has the best fans ever. Cameron Crazy, go Duke.
Speaking of messages, we are now going to get a message from our very own Andy Katz with his thoughts on the number 1 seeds in this tournament.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, first of all, I understand the seeding was done based on Twitter followers, and that's why you've got Duke at the top of this with 2.2 million, Indiana with 1 million, North Carolina and Kansas have over 900,000, but the glaring omission, if you were to seed this based on fan support, well, it's Kentucky. Now, I know Kentucky has apparently around 800,000 Twitter followers, but if I were to see this, Kentucky would have to be number 1, because based on my experience in 30 years, dating myself here, of covering college basketball, there's no question in the modern social media era, anything I do, anyone does on Kentucky, you're going to hear something positive, something negative. Their fan base is by far the most active I've seen on Twitter. Of this group of 4, I actually would say you could go with Kansas next in terms of the teams that are the fan base that is the most active and will give you feedback, both positive and negative. And then after that, I actually would go Carolina, Indiana, and then Duke. Yes, Duke has an enormous following, but it's a little bit polarizing, a little love-hate. And Duke is much more of a national brand, not as popular in the state of North Carolina, but its reach certainly is across the country, certainly in the Northeast, out on the West Coast, in the upper Midwest. But for my purposes, I certainly would have Kentucky at the top of this list in terms of fan support, regardless what the Twitter numbers are. And then I would have Kansas number 2, because those Jayhawk fans will let you know if you say something negative about the Jayhawks. All right, it's going to be interesting how this all plays out. Interesting top 4 seeds in this bracket. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Andy. Up next, we are going to seed the teams, fill out the rest of the bracket. Look at this, Tate. Look at all these teams waiting for their names to be called. We're going to be calling some of them. All of them? Maybe? Who knows? Maybe. We will see. We will find all that out after this break. Welcome back to the Fox Sports Ultimate Fan Bracket College Basketball Edition. I promise we are going to get to the actual bracket here in a second. Before we do, I want to remind everyone watching, this contest falls on your shoulders. This is up to you. The winner of this will be decided by a vote at CVB on Fox, the Twitter account. That is where all the voting will take place. All right, Tate, we've done a good job of sticking to the selection show format to this point by dragging this thing out as long as possible. But enough is enough. We have to give the people what they came for. It is time to start revealing the seeding and the bracketing of this thing.
Absolutely. We're here. I miss Greg Gumbel right now, but I will say this. Let's go to the South region. Let's go to the top half of the South region. Let's get to the number 1 overall seed in this thing. And that, of course, is your Duke Blue Devils. And oh my goodness, Mark Titus, it has started. Look at this matchup in the 116. We got Lehigh taking on the Blue Devils. Crazy second round. Obviously, these are two big programs here. We got the UConn Huskies taking on Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, the team that went to the title game last year. And then we're going to keep moving further down. We got the Gonzaga Bulldogs taking Stephen F. Austin on. And Stephen F. Austin, they're a hot team. They've had some big moments. They beat Duke this year.
They did. They were 8-point underdog, won in Cameron Indoor Stadium. People forget.
And finally, at the top half of this bracket, we got the 4 seed Syracuse Orange taking on the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State.
All right. Okay. All right, let's go Orange, baby. Let's go Cuse.
Yes!
Syracuse is my dark horse already. I like Syracuse as a 4 seed. If you spend any time on the internet, you know that the Syracuse fans know how to mobilize for a cause. If they get passionate about something, they are going to let their voices be heard. If the Carrier Dome is any indication, this is a fan base that shatters attendance records regularly. These are fans that are passionate about the Orange. These are fans that show out, and I expect the same in this Ultimate Fan bracket.
The Carrier Dome is under renovation right now, so those Syracuse fans, they need somewhere to congregate, they need somewhere to go, and we think the Ultimate Fan bracket is somewhere they may go. But let's get to the bottom half of the South region. Let's keep this thing rolling. A team that I love dearly, the Wofford Terriers, and they are the 6th seed, and they are taking on the Nevada Wolfpack.
Wait, what? Wofford a 6 seed? Wow.
Yes,
This is something here.
132,000 Twitter followers. Who would have thought the Terriers? But of course, another big school here. The 3 seed, we got the Michigan Wolverines taking on a 14 seed UNCW, the Seahawks, a team that recruited you, Mark Titus. You remember that? That was a great time.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Let's talk about a team that you went to, the number 7 seed.
There they are.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Coincidentally, did not recruit me, Tate.
Who would have thought? And they're going to take on a number 10 seed LSU or Louisville, which is an amazing playing game there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. And finally, the last matchup we have in the South region, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the Campbell Camels.
This is great for Rudy. This is great for all the Notre Dame fans out there. And this is great for Campbell. The Camels, they're in the tournament as a 15 seed.
I'm fleshing this out. I'm seeing Ohio State could face Michigan in the Sweet 16, which, I mean, how many times in one year can Michigan lose to Ohio State? That would be something else. A lot still needs to happen for that matchup to play out, though. I will say that. For now, let's take a look at Ohio State fans reacting to their placement in this bracket.
Region right here. All right. Let's go!
They're obviously very fired up, Titus, about this whole run. But we got another man, a friend of the program, and his name is Duncan Robinson. He's going to let us know how he feels about his Wolverines.
Duncan Robinson here. I think it goes without saying that I'll be supporting Michigan in the college basketball Ultimate Fan bracket. So let's make sure we show out and show the whole nation who the best fan base is. As always, go blue.
Big picture view. What stands out to you here?
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, for a school that is so small, if you've ever been to Wofford, so if you drive through campus, right, it's like going through like a driveway. Like you basically just take up, it's like a little semicircle, and then it's like, okay, goodbye. You just saw Wofford. But somehow they have 132,000 Twitter followers. They somehow have great names every single year. We've seen Storm Murphy. We've seen Fletcher McGee. We've seen, the Grayson Allen trip moment that all happened with Santa Ana. They've been in the ether of college basketball, and I think they're ready to make a name for themselves. They are Terriers. They like to bark. They like to be loud. And if there's anything I know about Wofford and South Carolina, they're going to make some noise.
They have more followers than the entire MAC and Ivy League combined. It's crazy.
What do we need to know about Ohio State fans and what they would do in this bracket?
It's not just Columbus, Ohio, Tate. It's the entire state of Ohio. It's the entire country. To my knowledge, there's one fan base in this country that has the moniker the best damn fans in the land. It is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio is the most populous state in this country with one public school that is in a power conference state, which is to say that in Ohio, there's one team to cheer for. It is the Ohio State Buckeyes. People are going to rally behind the Buckeyes, as they always do. Is there an upset pick, an upset lock that stands out to you here?
We keep talking about this. This is not necessarily always about the fans. This is about sometimes the haters. And I think, in a 116 game, we've seen the NCAA tournament. It's only happened one time, 1 in 139. I think in this new iteration, this new poll, we got a 116 matchup that the world wants to see in like it did in 2012. The Duke Blue Devils, the world is going to turn on them, and they're going to pull for Lehigh. They're going to like the little guy. And it's David versus Goliath, and this time David's going to win, like he did last time, I guess.
You might be onto something because it doesn't have to be all Lehigh fans that vote for Lehigh. It could be all the Duke haters and
all the Carolina fans.
Yeah,
I vote for
Lehigh. There you go. One of the upsets I'm looking at here is Nevada Wofford. I mean, we've kind of gone over it. 132,000 Twitter followers for the Terriers, but I don't trust that they're gonna go far in this thing.
And the must bus got Nevada rolling. The fans are fired up. Obviously, Alfred's there now, but I think that if you look at Nevada, it's kind of like a team that's like on the rise. Let's keep it going. We're going to come back after the break here. We're going to get to the East region. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
All right, welcome back. We have already bracketed the South region where Duke is the 1 seed, the number 1 overall seed in this entire tournament. We are now going to shift our focus to the Midwest. Take it away.
Yes, we got the number 2 overall seed, the number 1 Indiana Hoosiers taking on Southern. Obviously, Indiana led the NCAA in average attendance in 1976, the year they were undefeated. We all know that. We're going to get to the 8-9 game here. Let's see what the draw is for Indiana. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Florida, UCLA,
That's
2
a heavyweight
primetime
matchup.
programs.
Wow.
Yeah, 2006 revenge. I think Florida's 4-0 against UCLA in the NCAA tournament. A little bit of history there. Let's keep this thing going. 5-12. Oh, my gosh. We got Virginia, UMBC. Tony Bennett's nightmare. And speaking of miracles, maybe, we got Maryland as a 4 seed taking on Marshall, and there's a chance maybe Maryland can make a run from the 4th
So
spot.
Maryland in the second round is either getting Virginia or UMBC, the in-state rival UMBC or the former ACC rival Virginia.
All right, well, there you have it. That's the top half of the Midwest region. Let's take a live look now at some UMBC fans as they just found out that they are in this tournament. Let's see what's going on here.
They don't seem too excited, Tate. They see it feels like they've been here before. It's going to take more than just making the tournament at this point to get these fans going, I guess.
Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's get to the bottom half of the Midwest region. Here we go. We got 6 seed, the Fighting Illini, taking on Loyola Chicago.
There it is.
Oh, my goodness. A battle for Illinois.
There it is. In-state matchup. Another one. How about that?
Who would have thought? Sister Jean, she's still here. And here we keep going. We got West Virginia as a 3 seed.
Wow.
Taking on Monmouth, the bench mob, the King Rice's squad, a team that's always having a good time in New Jersey.
Good to see West Virginia as a 3 seed. I like that. I like the Mountaineer fans showing out and having
Oh, here we go. We got the Memphis Tigers, Penny's Tigers taking on Florida State or Baylor. That's a big 10 seed matchup there.
That is two great teams in the play-in game right there that had great seasons this year. Kentucky as the 2 seed. That's what we were waiting on, Tate. We were wondering. Kentucky had to be a 2. They weren't a 1. We knew they had to be a 2, and there it is. Kentucky is in Indiana's region. This region is absolutely loaded. I feel like the committee did this on purpose. The storylines are crazy, but tons of schools that went to the Final Four. I mean, I think I counted 10 schools in this region alone have been to a Final Four in what, the last 20 years or so?
Yeah, something like that. That sounds about right.
This is crazy. This region is absolutely stacked, Tape.
And now we have a live look at the Florida State Seminole fans.
All right. It's good.
Tate, this is a fan base that saw their team win the ACC regular season. They saw their team technically win the ACC tournament, even though they never played a second in any of those ACC tournament games. I understand they're being a little deflated about having to be in the play-in game against Baylor and being a 10 seed, coming off of what was a historic Florida State season. But, they're appreciative. They're happy to be in the bracket, and I like to see that as well. And now we have a special guest who has submitted his reason why his fan base is the best.
Hi, Coach Penny Hardaway. I'm from Memphis. I played at Memphis, and now I'm currently the head coach at Memphis. I know how passionate our Tiger fans are. They're the best fans in the world. And the reason why they're the best fans in the world and in college basketball is because they're so passionate about the game, they're knowledgeable of the game, and they absolutely love Tiger basketball. They stay in tune with the game the entire game. They never lose focus. And that's why I love them so much, and that's why they are the best in the country. Go Tigers.
All right, Tate, as we pull out and get a big picture look at this bracket, one thing that's standing out to me, UCLA is a 9 seed. This is a program you and I have become very close to living out here in LA. We have been to many games. We've witnessed the resurgence of UCLA basketball under Mick Cronin, Mick Magic happening. How do we feel about UCLA as a 9 seed here?
I think it's a lot of good juju that's going on right now, right? In LA, and obviously everyone's locked down right now and people want to vote. And I saw that, there was I think UCLA finished second in a point guard vote. Like they were second as point guard. Kentucky was number 1. The fans were upset, right? And I love to see the UCLA fans out and about on the internet yelling about things because that's how you know they're bad. I have to say this. Kentucky fans are very upset right now. I know that they see the 2 next to their name. I know that they're confused. Big Blue Nation is everywhere. They are very loud. They are very proud. In fact, if you go through like the biggest games in college basketball, Kentucky, whether it's neutral, home, whatever, they're always involved in some sort of record. I think they're going to be very loud about this, and especially going against, an in-state rival in the first round.
Well, yeah, that was my question for you, is that is Big Blue Nation going to be offended by this and rally together and see to it that they win? Because I got to be honest, Tate, if you ask me to think of one fan base in college basketball, my mind immediately goes to Big Blue Nation, and the fact that they're a 2-seed is very, very shocking. But speaking of Cal, we got the Kentucky-Memphis potential matchup there in the second round, the Calipari Bowl. That is something I definitely have my eye on. Like I said, all sorts of just intriguing lineups, all sorts of intriguing potential matchups in this one. I just fleshed this out too, by the way, Tate, looking at this bracket. Loyola Chicago could play UMBC in the Elite Eight, which would be the all-time meme war of Sister Jean versus the UMBC Twitter guy.
In the tournament every single year, we know what the matchup is for the upset, right? It's the 5-12 game, and it was never the 1-16 game until one time in 140 matchups we saw UMBC beat Virginia, and now we have it again. Is this the redemption of Virginia? Is this a chance that they can beat them again and get done with this, get it behind them?
I see this matchup as a can't lose both ways. For Virginia, you can't lose to UMBC twice. You can't. If you're a Virginia fan, you can't allow that to happen for obvious reasons. Virginia has to win this. They have to outvote UMBC. On the other hand, you have UMBC. The Twitter guy, as we talked about, has became a star, talking all that junk on Twitter as UMBC is going through their run. He continues to do that. UMBC Twitter account continues to be a story in college basketball. And considering that this whole bracket is unfolded on Twitter, Tate, you can't have like a keystone of your program be the awesome Twitter account that you have and then lose in the first round of a Twitter poll. So I see this as whoever loses this is going to have great shame. Well, I'm just going to cut straight to it. Great shame on the program if whoever loses this. Both programs have to win, but only one can, Tate. That's what we love about this. They both can't win. Well, you have Ty Jerome, former UVA star, national champion for Virginia. We have him here to explain why Virginia fans are he believes the best in the country.
What's up, guys? It's Ty Jerome here. I just want to share with you why I think UVA fans are the best in the country. As soon as I step foot on Charlottesville, you notice how special they are, how big of an impact they have on all sports really, but especially basketball. Every single game, non-conference game, first game of the season, non-conference opponent compared to Duke, they're all sold out. The place is always going crazy. They stuck with me. They're my highs and lows of my career at UVA. It's just such a special place, and the fans really make it that way. So I think they're the best fans in the country, and I hope they do well in this bracket.
Tate, we saw in that video, we saw Ty Jerome a few different times pan to, looks like he has his Virginia jersey hanging up in his room there. This is a guy who loves Virginia. Virginia seems to love him back.
Yeah, and we should point out, Ty Jerome made the biggest pass in the national championship game last year, kicked it out to DeAndre Hunter, hit the big three. They get the big win. And if anyone on that team ever got doubted, I feel like he was the guy that got doubted the most, and he proved a lot of people wrong. So we appreciate Ty, coming in, and maybe he can vote and prove people wrong again, because people want the upset. They want UMBC to be back.
Well, Tate, we've seen half the bracket at this point. We have the Midwest down. We have the South down. When we come back, we are going to take a look at the East Regional. All right, welcome back. We have seen half the bracket to this point. Now let's get into the East Regional, Tate. What do we got?
Yeah, it's official. We're here. We're at the East Region. And, of course, we got the #1 North Carolina Tar Heels taking on Robert Morris. Yeah, in the first round, we got a 116 matchup.
Blue blood killer Robert Morris. So they're going to get another victim, Tate.
I hope not.
In the past.
Please do not let this happen, North Carolina. Don't let this happen. Oh, my goodness. The 8-9 matchup, the Mark Godfrey Bowl. We got NC State taking on Alabama. That is
a potential NC State Carolina second round. That is juicy. I love it. I love it.
And the hits just keep coming for North Carolina. Oh, my goodness. The Wildcats of Villanova taking on Buffalo, a team that they like the upsets. We saw it as a 13 seed against Arizona not too long ago.
Yep. And there, speaking of Arizona, look at that. Arizona, Murray State in the 4-13 game.
Wow. The Racers. John Morant's got the fan base there. They're going. And Arizona fans, they got a lot to talk about. So we got the Pac-12 update there. Let's keep this going in these. We got the Purdue Boilermakers taking on either Butler or San Diego State.
Another great playing game. Florida State Baylor is a playing game. LSU Louisville playing game. We got Butler San Diego State now. Great playing games here. Yeah. Iowa State is a 3 seed. Wow. How about that?
I would have thought. I mean, it's a great fan base, and obviously we don't give them enough credit, honestly, for what they were able to do with their fans. And shout out to Penn, they made it. There you go. And here we go. We got the Oregon Ducks taking on the Auburn Tigers, and these two teams, they've been able to make Final Fours. They've been able to make some new noise in the world.
Auburn's my dark horse Cinderella out of the East. I like them as a 10 seed. Oklahoma as a 2 seed. Wow, I did not see that coming.
And App State is a 15 seed, and as we all know, App State, they're keen on the upset, so maybe there's a chance.
That is fascinating. Oklahoma is a 2, Iowa State is a 3. Tate, it feels like, no disrespect to Oklahoma or Iowa State fan bases here, but these are not the heavy hitters that I would expect. Is the committee giving Carolina an easy pass here? What's going on?
Dare you say good draw for North Carolina? Something that doesn't usually happen. This is usually a Duke thing that happens, but this is great. I feel really good about this region, but obviously NC State fans, the 8 seed there, if they get past Alabama, they will come out. They will pull the upset. This will be the cardiac pack. They will make a run, and I'm scared of that game. I don't want to see that game.
As you said, we got Villanova also in the mix. Maybe a Villanova-Carolina matchup in the Sweet 16. Maybe that's on the table.
Let's hope not. We got a North Carolina guy, Mark Titus. We've been doing the fan reactions, and this is a guy, he's beyond a fan. In fact, some people call him Psycho T. That is Tyler Hansbrough, and here's what he thinks about the Tar Heels.
What's up, everybody? It's Tyler Hansbrough here. I'm happy to support North Carolina and the Tar Heel Nation as the #1 seed in the ultimate basketball fan bracket. Let's go, Heels. I hope everyone's staying safe and staying home. Thank you.
There it is, Tate.
Wow, there you have it. Tyler Hansbrough himself. Always around to give a video to let people know about.
Let me ask you this: what makes you most nervous as a Carolina fan? It's got to be not Oklahoma. I'm sorry, it's got to be NC State in the second round, that potential second round game, right?
Yeah, this is revenge for NC State. They're sitting in Raleigh, North Carolina right now. Once they see this poll go up on Twitter, they will be on Pack Pride. They will be, pounding this thing out to the world. I'm very nervous about that game. That's not good.
What is it about NC State fans that you think that they're going to come together and give Carolina a run for their money there in the second round, assuming they can get past Alabama?
It's hard to be the third wheel, right? In any situation. So North Carolina and Duke, they're the two teams everyone talks about, 8 miles apart, best rivalry in basketball, yada, yada, yada. NC State is right there. And to put it into context, what is an NC State fan? Here's what you should do. You should go watch Julius Hodge play basketball for NC State. And when he played UConn in the tournament, they upset UConn when they were a 1 seed. I think the year was 2006. And he yelled at the camera, I told y'all. NC State fans, they talk it, and then sometimes they walk it. But they will definitely talk it, and they're going to talk a lot here.
I think Auburn is, in my experience covering college basketball, Auburn fans seem to be very rowdy, very vocal online. Them being a 10 seed, the Tigers being a 10 seed, I don't think they're going to take that lightly. That's my upset lock of the East region is Auburn over Oregon. I like that a lot. I don't know if Auburn is going to be able to get past Oklahoma, though. I feel like Oklahoma Tate, the entire state is, Oklahoma State is not in this thing. Tulsa is not in this thing. Oklahoma is carrying the torch for all of Oklahoma. All right, well, there it is. We have our 3 regionals down. We have 1 to go. It is the West Regional. We will get to it right after this. All right, welcome back. We have 3 regions down. We have 1 more to go. It is the West region. We know for a fact that Kansas is the 1 seed in that West region by process of elimination, Tate, but we don't know the remaining teams. Let's get to it. Let's break down the West region.
Here we go. We got the Kansas Jayhawks, like you said, the #1 seed, and they're going to take on Norfolk State. This is a matchup that the world's been waiting on, I'm sure. And again, Kansas fans are going to go crazy. And an old Big 12 game here.
Look at that. Nebraska, Texas.
5-12 game here. We got the Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the Jerry Colangelo Grand Canyon team. This is a potential 5-12 upset if you know the Grand Canyon.
Eric Musselman belongs in the Grand Canyon student section. That's all I'm going to say there. Tennessee, Florida Gulf Coast. How about that? That's the Florida Gulf Coast. As we said, they had their moment in the sun in 2015. Tennessee as a 4 seed. That's interesting. Ooh. Oh, whoa.
Here it is.
This is the first round matchup of the tournament. Iowa and Dayton, the 2 players of the year. Iowa, they're Wisconsin, Montana, but I almost feel like the rest of the bracket doesn't matter now that I see Iowa Dayton in the 6-11 game. That is juicy, Tate.
That's top billing. Yeah, Luka Garza versus Obi Toppin. Again, Wisconsin, there's a 3 seed taking on Montana, and we're going to keep this thing going. We got Missouri, the Tigers taking on, Creighton or BYU, 2 big-time fan bases and 2 big programs in college basketball this season.
Yeah.
And
The
finally,
playing games are unbelievable.
yeah, then finally we got Michigan State, the Spartans, a 2 seed, taking on Hawaii, the 15 seed. And we should point out Hawaii 2-0 all time against Michigan State. So
Is that
watch out
true? Michigan State lost their first game in the Maui Invitational this year, so it's something. Maybe there's some bad juju with Hawaii and Michigan State. Who knows?
A Hawaii curse, perhaps. Mr. March, that could be bad. We don't know what's going to happen there. Poor Tom Izzo. Let's talk about the team that you brought up, Dayton. We got Dayton Flyers here, or we call them frequent Flyers on this program, but let's get a reaction from those guys.
Dayton fans, passionate as always. They're crazy. They're loud. They love their Flyers. And they're excited. They got to be excited about this first matchup. That you and I are just as excited about this. And if you're not been paying attention to college basketball and don't understand why, it is because Luka Garza is the player for Iowa. Obi Toppin is a player for Dayton. They were pitted together head to head for all these National Player of the Year awards. Obi Toppin seems to be winning most of them. Iowa fans are not happy about this. Dayton fans are not happy that Iowa fans are not happy. A little rivalry is starting to brew, Tate, and it's fascinating to see them meeting in the first round.
Yeah, you're right, Titus. I mean, it has been that has been the Twitter war in college basketball. So if this is your time to kind of show where you stand, am I a Luka guy? Am I an Obi guy? This is your vote.
This is good enough to be like the championship of this entire bracket, and it's in the first round. I can't believe it. As you said, it all centers on Luka Garza versus Obi Toppin as Player of the Year, and we actually have Obi Toppin, who was just recently named Naismith Player of the Year. We have him offering his thoughts on Dayton fans.
Dayton has the best fan base in the country, hands down. And come from me, I feel like from when I first came to Dayton on my visit, I knew right away that it was the place for me because of the fan base. They welcomed me into their community and just showed me a lot of love. And from day one, they never stopped it. And so I knew it was real. They don't only do that for me, they do it for everybody in the Dayton community, whether they play basketball, a different sport, or even a regular citizen in the street. Everybody in Dayton is just so amazing. They supported us this whole season, and they showed that by selling out almost every single game at Dayton Arena. Not a lot of teams can say that their fan base does that, and that's why I definitely think Dayton has the best fan base. Go Flyers.
All right, thank you to Naismith Player of the Year, Obi Toppin, for his thoughts there, Tate. And now we have a complete bracket. That is it. We are now going to turn it over to our Fox Sports bracket analyst, Mike DeCourcy, to help us break this down. Mike, we want to start here. One of the first surprises we saw with this thing was the 1 seeds as they were unveiled. How do you feel about the 1 seeds in general? Is there a 1 seed you're looking at that's susceptible? Is it Indiana? They were the big surprise on the 1 line. How do you see the 1 line?
Kentucky's absence from the 1 line will make them crazy because they have shown over the years the propensity to take over pretty much every building in whatever tournament you're playing. Maui, they've got the building. You'd bring them back to the mainland and you stage the SEC tournament right over the border in Nashville. They've got the building. Whatever place in the NCAA tournament, I believe that Kansas chose the South region as their preferred destination for this tournament that didn't happen as the overall number 1 seed. They would have gone to Houston, even though it's a little farther, actually a good deal farther than Indianapolis would be, because they thought, there's a chance Kentucky could be there, take over the whole building. So let's go be safe in Texas and we'll clean the place out. And they probably would have. So the fact that Kentucky's not a 1 is big for me. I got a little chuckle as someone who knows a little bit about college basketball history. I got a little chuckle seeing Carolina as a 1 seed in terms of fan base, not because they don't have a great fan base, but it just all of a sudden reminded me of the old Sam Cassell cheese and wine crowd. And I know Carolina fans hate that stuff, but it hit me as soon as I saw them on the 1 line.
Coming at your neck, Tate.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, you have to point out, too, because Sam Cassell, like you said, he said cheese and wine, but then Jim Calhoun in 2004, he said wine and cheese is dead because, they had a great fan base there for this 1 game, and then it was over, right? We're past that. That's how they're still a 1 seed.
One thing I will say about Carolina's fan base is it was 1998, I was at the East Regional in Greensboro, and I, on the off night, went to a sports bar to watch the other games, and Duke was playing Syracuse in a Sweet 16 game. and the ferocity with which they loathe Duke definitely raised their gravitas in my eyes as a fan base, because that place, it doesn't matter. Like you go to an SEC bar and they're rooting for the other SEC team. Last year I was at Kentucky, I was at Louisville, and Kentucky was playing Auburn, and everybody in the place was rooting for Auburn. And then you go to the Final Four and there's 2 SEC teams. It's been a little while, but they'll chant SEC. But Duke and Carolina, man, they go after each other. So I know Carolina fans will bring it in this bracket.
What do you put as like the number one college basketball atmosphere, fan experience, however you want to phrase it? Give a shout out to your favorite fan base.
If you're a basketball fan and you're saying, okay, what's my bucket list? Where do I have to go to see a game? Number one is Allen Fieldhouse. I love Cameron. It's great, but Allen Fieldhouse is the best. This actually happened in the last border war game. And I think they're going to revive it. I think next year, the year after, but the last border war game between Missouri and Kansas, I was there at Allen Fieldhouse. I think it was 2012. And it was so loud at tip-off, so loud, the fans were so loud that I laughed out loud at the absurdity of how loud they were. And I couldn't hear my own laugh. It was that loud. I've never experienced anything like it. I mean, standing in front of a jet engine or whatever, not as loud as that. So unbelievable place. The Rock Chalk Jayhawk chant is amazing. The building itself is fantastic. But with the Mackey Arena and Purdue, maybe a good deal less charming in terms of the building itself, but the paint crew and the fans there are first rate. It is a wonderful atmosphere. That would be another place that I would say definitely deserves a lot of credit for really bringing it for a home game experience.
We all love the tournament because of the upsets. Is there anything that you see double-digit teams that could be potential upsets? We know the 5-12 games are usually what people point to. Is that where you're looking as well?
Now, for me, it's the 11-6 game. Now, Iowa is a terrific fan base and all, but I believe there is no more loyal fan base in college basketball than the Dayton Flyers fans. And I will tell you that when I was covering Memphis in the mid-90s, I went to UD Arena to see a Flyers game for the first time. I'd been there for the NCAA tournament prior to that, but that was my first UD Flyer game. And the prior year, I believe they had won 4 games. And in this season, they were on their way to winning 6. So that's a combined 10 wins in 2 years. And I believe there were around 12,000 people in a 13,000 seat building for a team that could barely dribble.
Thank you for joining us, Mike. We appreciate you breaking this down for us. It's fascinating to see your thoughts on this. Tate and I are just 2 idiots in tuxedos, and to have a true professional like you joining us and breaking it down is very helpful. So we appreciate it.
Thanks, it was a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. The bracket has been fully unveiled now, Tate. It is time to determine who is the best fan base in all of college basketball. Before we get to that, one last thing from you and I. We got to give our Final Four picks here, Tate. How do you see this thing shaking out?
As is tradition, again, we're at the end of the selection show. We have a bracket. We're both very excited. We want to see this thing play out. We have to give our Final Four picks. I'm going to start with the team that I love, and it's dear to my heart. Of course, 20 Final Four is the most in history. The North Carolina Tar Heels, as a 1 seed, I think they're going to make it. I will put a little parentheses. I'll put North Carolina parentheses State. I think there's a chance that outrage comes back to bite us. What you said about NC State fans, they're going to be upset about that. So there's a chance there could be an upset there.
It's a 2-for-1 pick there. I like that.
Yeah. 2 for 1. All right, let's keep it going. Then we got Michigan State. I like Michigan State. I like Izzo. I like the fact that they just have a strong backing, it feels like. I see Sparty Nation really get into this. Next from there, I get West Virginia. They're my only 3 seed that I have going to the Final Four, but I love Huggy Bear. I love the Mountaineers. I think that they just have a real upbeat mentality, and they have a real chance to make a run. And finally, is a team I won't say, they who shall not be named. 4 letters, you know them. The number 1 overall seed. That's my Final Four. But what about you, Titus?
So we're gonna get the Duke Carolina Final Four matchup, is what you're saying. That'll be
yes.
The world's going to that's gonna my God, that's gonna be wild. I see it like this. I see Ohio State, obviously the best damn fans in the land. They're coming out of the South. That's a no brainer. I like Indiana because I think Indiana is gonna feel very disrespected that. Somehow they're going to be disrespected as a 1 seed. Like all this talk about how did they get the 1 seed? Are we sure they should be the number 2 overall seed? I think Indiana fans are going to be really fired up about that and are going to show out and prove why they deserve to be the number 2 overall seed here. And then I think the opposite reaction to that is going to be Purdue fans are going to be so upset that Indiana is a 1 seed, that Purdue fans are going to show out. And I like Purdue to advance to this Final Four as well. And with that in mind, Tate, why not just make it a full Big Ten Final Four? I think Iowa, and I'm going to disagree with Mike DeCourcy. He believes in Dayton. We like Dayton fans on this program. I just think Iowa right now, that at this moment in time, they are so hot. We've been saying being mad online is a huge factor in this, is who can channel their anger into votes. And Iowa fans right now are going to take back what they believe is rightfully theirs. All these National Player of the Year awards that are going to Obi Toppin instead of Luka Garza, they're going to get their revenge on Dayton. They're going to use that momentum through this whole thing. And I like Iowa in the Final Four. I like 4 Big Ten teams. This just feels like a thing that Big Ten fan bases are going to get excited about. There are 10 Big Ten teams in this bracket, by far the most of any conference. And that's just how I see it shaking out. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a Big Ten tournament. That's how Tate and I see it shaking out, but none of this matters, Tate. It doesn't matter what we think. It matters how the fans vote. The voting is open now. All of you watching this, you know what you have to do. You have to go vote at CBB on Fox. The playing games are starting right this second. We have Creighton, BYU, LSU, Louisville, Florida State, Baylor, Butler, San Diego State. Some heavy hitters right out of the gate, Tate.
Yeah, there's no time for caution, right? It has started. We have voting going on. You have to go out right now. And if you care about your team, if you're an LSU fan, a Louisville fan, Florida State, whatever, but these are all big programs. You have to go out and vote right now because it has started and we have 3 weeks of this. So you got to keep it going.
At CBB on Fox is the handle. Go make it happen. Go vote. Also, check us out, Titus and Tate podcast. We're going to be breaking this bracket down for the next 3 weeks, offering our thoughts as all this unfolds. Tate, we would be remiss if we didn't one last time remind the fans that the winner of the Fox Sports Ultimate Fan Bracket, the college basketball edition, will be getting a billboard courtesy of Fox Sports in the territory of their rivals that declares that we are better fans than you. We are better at everything than you. We are champions, Tate.
For everyone that knows about this, in public school states where there's a bunch of them, there's always a billboard that says our state. You know, you might see it in Mississippi, in North Carolina, any of these places other than Ohio, obviously. And this is our nation, right? This is your time to say, look at us. We are the best. We have the best fans, and we can hang a banner. Finally, that's all we want to do. Just hang a banner, hang a billboard, hang something.
That's it from us. At CBB on Fox is the Twitter handle. That's where all this will be happening. You know what you have to do. Go vote.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.